it's it's unbelievable how disconnected and disjointed the right wing party is right now with each other. I mean, the left can
Mhm.
all agree that this was insane.
Yeah.
Why does half of the right think it's insane and half of the right think it was totally justified? If you wanted to lose the midterms, you just guaranteed you're going to lose the midterms.
Yeah.
This ICE agent killing Renee Good just sealed the deal. And then you have a ton of people like, "Oh, they're going to forget about." I don't think so. I don't think people are going to forget about all this crap with ICE acting like, just rogue thugs.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Patriots Table. This week, pretty big shocker that happened in the country. It's all over the internet with the ICE shooting that went down, and as a result of this, we wanted to bring in a special guest this week, Matt Clark. Now, Matt Clark's been a voice in the right movement for a long time now. He's a seasoned commentator, independent thinker, and he had a very popular right wing podcast, and then it also helped involved with Patriot One News. So, Matt, appreciate you joining us this week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Now, I waking up and seeing what went down. I mean, what was your first reaction to all that, Matt?
I mean, uh, I'll be very honest, and I even posted about this. I was just as furious about what happened to Renee Good as I was when I found out what happened to Ashley Babbitt.
Mhm.
And I was there on J6. I was there at the Capitol on the steps. For whatever reason, all of our phone signals were jammed, internet was jammed, so we had no lines of communication. We saw police everywhere. We saw just a crazy scene, sirens all over the place. We heard somebody had been shot. I had no idea, she was shot or killed. So when we finally got in the car after Trump said, everybody go home. Remember when he came on and said, please go home. Let's end this peacefully. Enough is enough. As soon as we kind of got outside the area, outside of DC, I started checking social media, and then I saw what happened. I saw Ashley Babbitt get shot, and I lost it because I saw the way she got shot, and then I saw the way that they prevented anybody from rendering medical aid to her.
Mhm.
And I posted about it that night, and it was a horrific scene to see go down in America, right? I just never, I felt like we turned on each other. Yes, I
Right.
get it. There's a few people who actually stormed the Capitol. They were trying to get through into that hallway, but let's listen. She was unarmed, right? Did she need to get shot in the neck? Probably not. And then all those emotions just kind of came back when I saw what happened to Renee. I saw this dude step to the side. Yeah, I guess he was brushed first. We saw that, but I saw an agent antagonize somebody into murdering her, shooting her, killing her, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And I was just is furious. I posted about it. I just said, I can't believe we're here again. Um, and it doesn't matter what led up to it. All that matters is that I felt it was very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Somebody killed an
Right.
American very, very unnecessarily. Was it legally warranted? We'll let the courts decide that. However, I don't think we're ever going to see a trial or anything over this situation. But morally, ethically, it was so unnecessary and so disgusting to see that go down. So, anger, rage, really, Trey, is what came to mind.
Absolutely. I mean, and outside of I mean, we can talk about the finer details of this, but what was really alarming to me was just the lack of value of life.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that I was hearing say, F around and find out. Like,
Right.
what are we talking about? Like, this is an American citizen, another human being.
Yeah.
And I mean, from what I saw, there was so many steps, so many things that could have been done to prevent such a tragic situation
Absolutely.
that on both sides. Like I'm not going to defend even what she was doing because I think
Right.
how she handled the situation was pretty stupid too.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about, whose responsibility it was to have some kind of level head or control of the situation, I think that's why these people have a badge, is because they've gone through the training and they
Right.
are supposed to be able to handle high intense situations like this, not seem to me what look like more of an ego power trip
Oh,
control
absolutely.
type thing instead of well, we just need to do what's in the best case for everybody involved here, because there was other people around, there was bystanders, there was people recording the scene. There's no, what if there was a stray bullet, that like
Mm-hmm.
that, the whole ordeal. I mean, and even law enforcement's policy, ICE policy on the situation was clearly ignored in that, and I want to talk about that later. But yeah, Ravi, I also want to get your thoughts on the
I want to
situation too.
just I found something out today that I think is an interesting point that I think people don't talk about. I mean, like there is a difference between ICE enforcement and what is happening in these liberal cities, because the people who are there enforcing immigration is not ICE. These are the BORTAC people. It's the Border Tactical Control. This is like a tactical
Mm-hmm.
unit of the Border Patrol unit. So they go after terrorists, and they're in situations that are, like you said, high intense and, like, trigger happy situations. So I don't really know if that kind of show of force. Now, I understand the fact that, in liberal cities, they're getting, like, harassed and people are protesting out there and all of that stuff. But do we need a militarized tactical unit going after somebody who's an illegal immigrant? I mean, is every illegal immigrant a criminal? I don't think so. I mean, you don't need a tactical unit to storm into Target and take somebody who's working, in the boxing area into custody. Because in the past, what I remember is, like, these ICE people, they never wore masks. I mean, they didn't have all these tactical gear on. They were like cops, bulletproof vests. They just walked in and grabbed whoever that was illegal and deported
Exactly.
them. Right? I mean, that's my problem with this whole situation. So you're putting people who are not trained to be in a civil, like a
Right.
crowded environment, and then you expect them to act a certain way. Things like that are bound to happen. But the biggest worry that I have, so, listening to what Matt said about January 6th, I mean, I watched that video as well. Immediately, the people were like, you know, after that police officer, like, unarmed woman shot dead, doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
situation was, right? And now we come back here, and it's the same thing. Like, now people are after us for saying, like, it's the same.
Right.
To me, it's the same situation, just like you said, Matt. It's like a American citizen, unarmed, yeah, being stupid, yeah, doing all the stuff that they shouldn't be doing probably, but not, they shouldn't be dead for that. But then some people will ask me, like, okay, so how long do you think somebody should block the road? I mean, like, Jesus, there's no time limit. I mean, this is America. I mean,
Right.
if you, I mean, like,
Exactly.
yeah, the truckers from Canada block the freeways for hours. Anybody get shot for
Right.
that? Right? So this is, it
Right.
doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying that those people are doing, that their job is easy, or like they shouldn't be doing their job. No, they should be, looking for illegal immigrants and getting rid of them. I don't have a problem with that. At the same time, I'm not this, quote unquote anti-ICE leftist, which is what you get slammed by right away if you even question. It's the narrative building and the constant, this side is right, that side is wrong attitude that really bugs me. Okay, that's what I think about all that.
I mean,
That's
and they're almost using the fact that she had a car as an excuse to unload on somebody, and
correct.
that's the
Yes.
disgusting part. Yeah, she had a car. I've seen tons of cop videos where a driver speeds at an officer, and the officer could not get out of the way, and he had to shoot the driver, and it was totally justified. The
Yeah.
cop had every right to do that. This was not that case.
Right.
We clearly see this officer. They antagonized each other. It was like, who could be a bigger baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like you said, Trey, you were absolutely right. He was the one trained. Okay, we haven't really, we don't know what was going through the mind of Renee Good. We don't know if she was, if she went from antagonizing to confusion real quick in a split second. She just made the wrong move, and that was it. She was dead. So we'll never know what really went through her head. But she people are claiming that she kind of sped up at him, and I just
Yeah.
didn't see that.
No.
I'm not seeing what a lot of the right are screaming about.
No.
And we see somebody slow roll away. This dude is literally leaning on the hood of her car. You didn't need to do that.
Right.
You could have literally taken half a step to the side, got out of the way, let her drive forward, get her at the next red light. Like, it could
Yeah.
have been that simple.
Hmm.
Had she been driving at this agent and was going to pin him between a brick wall and he literally had no escape route, fair
Yeah.
play. Unload
Yeah.
on her. Like,
Hmm.
you have no choice. I mean, I've looked at the laws, I've looked at the penal codes, and it very clearly states if there's you are not to fire at a driver if there is any possible escape path, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was like 340 degrees of freaking
Hmm.
escape path in this
Right.
Yeah.
situation. And he did escape. So it was almost as if he just couldn't wait for this moment. That's the
Hmm.
part that really disturbs me. Is
Hmm.
there's a lot of good cops out there. I mean, Trey, Robbie, we're all back the blue, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we can all agree on that. We're all back the blue. We love law enforcement. We love law and order. I voted for Trump 3 times because I wanted him to take care of the rampant crime, but we're almost becoming the rampant right
Right.
now. And
Hmm.
that is what I did not vote for. So there could have been a million different ways to go about this, but he chose the one way that was just so unnecessary that ended up being the most disgusting way. And that doesn't sit well with me.
Oh, and you watch, like I watched a video and I watched a slow-mo of it. The first shot didn't ring out until after he was, I call it bumped. I mean,
Mhm.
I've been bumped as hard as he was bumped by a
Yeah,
car.
right.
He wasn't hit, he was bumped. Um, so he wasn't in such
And
fear of
because he
his
was
life.
leaning on the hood of the car, mind you.
Right,
That's why
right.
he was bummed. He
He
was
was
literally leaning on the
Yeah.
freaking car. Like, get off the
right,
car.
like he was going to prevent her from driving off and getting away with his
Right.
body. But if somebody is in fear for their life, which he would need to be in order to do what he did, normally you that happens right at the moment or even leading up to the moment. Oh, I'm about to get run over. I better stop this person from
Right.
attempting to kill me. Not, ooh, I just got bumped.
And
And
now
if
I'm
you
pissed off.
and now I'm pissed off. And you look at had the angle of the tires and everything. She was pulling away. He was out of danger.
Yeah.
He was out of danger by the time that first shot went off. And not only did he fire the first shot, he fired two more after
Yeah.
Yeah.
that when he was
Yeah.
clearly out of danger. Just because if there was a chance of her surviving after the first one, we gotta had to
Got to
make
make
sure
sure we
she was
totally
actually.
finish the job.
So it was very disgusting. And then I mean there was a few days afterwards, the footage that came from his cell phone
Mm-hmm.
even showed him like standing in front of her vehicle for a second when she was backing up,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then took a step forward in the direction of her vehicle. So there was
He
zero attempt
antagonized it. He got in
to
her
Yeah.
to
way.
even get out of the way.
Yeah.
And everybody was pointing to the fact that the first bullet shot was in the windshield, and it's like,
And
dude,
even if it was,
but
okay, he got
stand
in
right
her
next to
way.
you can stand right next to the front tire and put your arm to the side and shoot in
Yeah.
the front of the
Yeah.
windshield. Like that's not an argument in my opinion. So it's just, and somebody who's not antagonizing doesn't say, effing be after you
No,
kill
that was
somebody?
again,
Like,
that was a revenge kill. That was
right.
a, you know, he not even revenge. He put himself in the way of that vehicle just so he could kill her. I mean, that's
And
what it looks like to me. I don't
Yeah.
care how you want to spin it. It
yeah,
looks like he intentionally set the scene up so he could put his way in the path of a moving vehicle, which then gave him a legal reason to shoot her.
yep. And
Yeah.
his partner that wouldn't approach the vehicle, you could tell he wasn't even approaching the vehicle because, all right, we can't do this anymore. You're causing a problem. We need to get you out of the way in a calm, collective,
Mm-hmm.
professional manner. That was somebody who was, okay, I'm pissed. You guys are running your mouths. I'm now triggered, and now I'm going to assert my authority and attempt to control the situation. To me, it came across as little man syndrome, like to a T.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
he was so open your door, and like even how he walked up to her vehicle to try and open her door was
Yeah.
somebody who was already seeing red. And that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even the person who shot her. That was the
Yeah.
other officer. So like
This is
nothing
not how they are trained. They are not trained to
right,
do this.
nothing
They're
about
not trained to
that
act like this.
was professional.
No.
Nothing about that was a cool level head controlling the situation. You know, part of the reason they go through this rigorous training and they have these guidelines is so the public can have a sense of security that you know what they know what they're doing and we can trust them. We can trust them because they're trained to handle this stuff. We're
Mm-hmm.
not. This does nothing but squat, and there's already a problem with the public's trust in law enforcement.
Right.
And that has gotten a lot worse since COVID. You saw the amount of officers that left the police force because they were like, we're not enforcing these mandates. We think this is unconstitutional. You saw police officers getting fired left and
Yeah.
right for not enforcing certain things. So there's an argument to be made that a lot of officers that are left, everybody knows that there's bad cops in the police force. Is it a minority? Absolutely. Did that minority grow after the amount of officers that left during COVID? People have lost a lot of faith in law enforcement, and stuff like this only exacerbates the problem. It makes it 10 times worse. And then you have people who claim to be the good guys and fighting for the people defending it, and
Yeah.
not only defending it, lying about the situation and making it seem like it's you're essentially painting the entire half of the country as psychos and the bad guys and then wondering why they don't like you.
It's very true. It's very true. I mean, the amount of slack I've gotten this week. I mean, I've never been attacked worse than I have this week, which is fine. I can handle it. But it's unbelievable how disconnected and disjointed the right wing party is right now with each other. I mean, the left can
Mhm.
all agree that this was insane.
Yeah.
Why does half of the right think it's insane and half of the right think it was totally justified? I mean, this, the first thing I said was, if you wanted to lose the midterms, you just guaranteed you're going to lose the midterms.
Yeah.
This ICE agent killing Renee Good just sealed the deal.
Hmm.
And then you have a ton of people like, oh, they're going to forget about it. I don't think so. I don't
No.
think people are going to forget about all this crap with ICE acting like, just rogue thugs, because that's what they look like right
Hmm.
now. They look
Yeah.
like rogue thugs.
Yeah.
And Ravi, you made a great point a minute ago. You said, law enforcement usually kind of shows up. We have a warrant. We,
Hmm.
we believe that there's an illegal immigrant there. We'd like to talk to him, please. You need to come with us.
Hmm.
You show up to the doorstep, you get in your car, you go back to the station. You don't go parading through the freaking streets
Yeah.
like it's North Korea with ICE agents walking alongside the
Hmm.
cars. I mean, who does this? I don't
Yeah.
see law enforcement doing it in my hometown. Do you guys? Do you see law
No.
enforcement out there scaring the shit out of people?
So
No.
this is the problem that I think we need to the people need to focus on, because obviously either the administration is wanting us to notice the militarized presence and the tactical forces in the cities for some other reason, or they're short of people and they brought, because usually, I mean, I just went in and looked at where usually the BOTAC, teams are located. They're entirely like located along the borders. So there's like 15 units of them along the southern border, and there's like another like 10 units on the northern border, right? They don't ever like go in between to the country. The ICE does the inside domestic, immigration enforcement. So for some
Hmm.
reason now things have changed, and they are bringing in the tactical forces that they probably did the same thing at the border. I mean, like, we don't know that, we don't hear about it, right? If somebody is like coming into the country as a criminal or whatever, they might be just shooting them dead and we never hear about it. We don't know because these guys have not been in the cities, doing enforcing domestic immigration, deportation and immigration, apprehending before. This is the first time I've seen them because I've been in states where they used to enforce immigration all the time. I mean, the guys showed
Hmm.
up. I mean, and they had ICE and police on their vests, and they would just come in and talk to the owners, and if there was somebody, they would grab them and go. That's
Hmm.
it. So there's a problem. I mean, like, why are they doing this? I mean, we need to ask ourselves that question: are they short and stuff? And then I heard somebody saying, like, and I kind of verified it. It's true that some of these people are trained by the IDF. Now that's a whole other, can of worms there. You open that one, you upset another whole group of right wing neocons. That you bring Israel into the picture, everybody gets all upset. Like, I
Hmm.
got MI today for saying that the riots in Iran are funded by the Mossad,
Right.
which turns out to
Absolutely.
be true. So the one, I think the biggest things that Trump, I think, hasn't understood yet is that his victory in 2024 was not just by getting the votes of these, neocon MAGA Republicans or the far right. There were a lot of like middle, you know, people in the middle,
Oh,
like myself. I
absolutely.
mean, like, yeah, like we voted for the guy because we wanted
Hmm.
for him to come in and keep his promises about making America great again. And today he just said that anybody who goes against, what I'm doing, I don't want, they can be in MAGA. I mean, like, what are you talking about? I mean, like, we all
Yeah.
want to make America great again. You're not going to tell me I'm not going to be part of MAGA. I probably won't
Right.
vote for
That
it.
first of all, that's not up to Trump. That's not up to Trump to
Yeah,
decide who's
Right.
a part of MAGA. Some
right.
Democrats, I mean, a lot of Democrats want to make America great again,
Sure.
and that's the problem. The writers claim the label and think they
Yeah.
own it,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and they don't. And I do want to say this though, Ravi, that you know you're asking things we don't hear about things that go down at the border, um, and we do have to call it the Democrats too, okay?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
they're certainly not helping. This isn't
No.
all Trump. The problem is the Democrats are in Dem-led cities like Minneapolis, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, or yeah, in other cities. Look at what happened in Los Angeles. Okay,
And
you've got the
Portland, yeah.
Democrat mayors in Portland. You got the Democrat mayors saying we're going to warn illegal immigrants when ICE comes around,
Right.
or we need to fight ICE. When you have Democrat mayors telling the citizens to go fight ICE, what do you think's going to happen?
Exactly.
the
Yeah,
whole the
exactly
whole
what
thing is
happened.
just right.
Yeah.
We don't hear about this in Florida. Do we see ICE troop marching through the streets of Orlando or Miami? No, because Governor DeSantis would not allow it. He would
Yeah.
tell the people, yeah, if you're here illegally, you expect ICE to get you, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that. They're not telling ICE to run.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not telling the citizens to go fight ICE. So the whole thing, you have two big babies on each side of the aisle
Mm-hmm.
right now. Neither of them willing to talk to each other. They just want to see who could be a bigger asshole
Right.
for future votes. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, all of us are losing.
Yeah. I think the bigger problem is like, Biden's he allowed like these millions of people to just wander in
Mm-hmm.
here. If that was not the case, then we don't need ice all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So the problem started there. So my philosophy, now I have seen enough of both sides of the aisle
Mhm.
to know that these are pretty much. I mean, I think I've wondered if it's on your page or whatever. I mean, somebody was talking about, things get like both wings being needed to fly, and I'm like,
Mhm.
well, the ostrich has two wings, and it's not going to fly
I saw
anywhere. I mean,
that
like this is.
comment.
Did you see that? I mean, they're both the two wings of the same bird, right? So I mean, I'm looking at this now, and my conspiracy head goes on me, and I'm like, well, maybe that was done on purpose so that somebody else could come
Uh-huh.
in and do this cleanup, and then make us feel very safe with the
Good
whole
cop, bad cop,
militarized
right?
Oh,
environment, right?
absolutely.
So this is, and the people just keep cheering this on, and I saw it happen in China. I mean, other countries, the same thing has happened. I mean, you normalize something as being good, and we have the people cheer it on, and the next thing you know, it's on everybody. I mean,
Mhm.
Mhm.
America is in deep trouble. And for us, I'm so disappointed. I mean, people say like, "Oh, no, you're a leftist now and you hate Trump." I don't hate Trump, and I'm not a leftist. I'm somewhere in the middle, somewhere there.
Uh-huh.
I can say that I'm terribly disappointed because everything that I voted for is not happening. And I can give you a big list. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done anything, but what I really want him done to make this place, again, great, is not happening. Everything else is. So where do we go from here? I mean, like, as far as like elections, and I mean, he's definitely, I think having second thoughts about the midterm right now, and he should be worried about it because a large block of the people that voted for him in 2024 is going to, either not vote, or they're going to find another, metric to vote for, without going just left, right. And we
The
saw
the
this in
the
New York. I mean,
Yeah. To be honest, I think the biggest problem right now is nobody knows how to win an election without polarizing their base.
yeah, yeah,
So you almost have to find the most obnoxious, loudest radical on the left to go up against the same on the right. Right, you've got the
yeah.
far left and the far right. I mean, and I posted something about this the other day. I said we got to get back to the moderates. We have to.
Hmm.
Right.
We
Yeah.
got to
Right.
get back to moderate candidates. We have to be. I loved Bush. Obama wasn't bad. I don't know what everybody's
Hmm.
hard on for Obama was, although I lived in China for all of Obama's 8 years while he was in office. But I just never saw that. I never saw what the right saw in Obama that gave them the reason to hate him so much. I guess I just didn't see it. But at least Obama and Bush, I thought, maybe Bush more so, I don't know. I thought they at least tried to work with the other side.
Hmm.
You know, you'd see them coming to their State of the Union. At least both sides would stand up and applaud. I mean, look what we have right now. Trump
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
in and gives a State of the Union. The left, the Democrats are going to sit there the whole time and stick their noses up to him, and the right are
Hmm.
going to cheer. When Biden was in office, you had the left the whole time stand up and the right sat down. It's like, when are we going to get away from this
Yeah.
polarization of politics and just get
Mhm.
back to America working together? So I don't
Right.
know what they're so afraid of. I don't know why they don't want to get to that point again.
It's the division. I mean, there used to be a time where nobody questioned if, for the most part, on a
Mhm.
mass majority, whether or not the other side loved America and wanted what was best for America. There was just some disagreements on what the path to making America great was, and that was the two sides. But people still held hands with it.
Mhm. They
And this is where
compromised.
right,
Hmm.
and now today, gosh, it seems like half these people would be willing to like go brawl in the street. Like we're back in Civil War type separation of people just hating each other.
And they
And
don't
what
even know
people
why, Trey.
no, and
Nobody
people
knows why
don't
they hate each other right now.
understand. You have the most radical right-wing Republican has more in common with that left-wing
Mhm.
person than any of them have with any politician in this country,
Right.
period. And people don't see that. People do not see that the people in government, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, it seems like a big game to me. Hey, this year you guys get George Floyd, we're going to get a bunch of money and donations to fight you. This year you're going to get Jan 6, now we're going to get a bunch of donations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like this back and forth. And I'm relatively young. I'm younger in this. I'm only 30 years old. I've never voted Democrat before in my life. I was raised in a traditional Republican household, and just getting out of the whole two-party system a little bit and just sitting back and looking, it just looks like a game. And it's a pendulum. Sometimes it's over here and then
Uh-huh.
it ends up going on the other side. And there's not a lot of just common sense, let's meet in the middle, what's best for the country. It's
Mm-hmm.
got to be some crazy, radical, unhinged thing. It's like we're either dropping billions and billions of dollars on government, stuff that doesn't work, or we're sending trillions overseas to fight some war we don't need to be involved
Right.
in. Like it's either crazy left or crazy right. And that's what I know that's what Robbie was voting for with America First. Quit sending money
Mhm.
overseas. Let's fix our infrastructure. Let's lower the cost of living. Let's,
Let's get to the
give
bottom
the
of
middle.
corruption,
Yeah,
which we
let's
haven't
Yeah.
even
get
touched
rid of
yet.
the yeah, we had like I mean,
We haven't even
I
scratched
was
the
waiting for
surface.
Hillary to go to prison like what Trump said his first time running,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it just none of it, none of the really big ticket items that everybody was roaring for that was making MAGA like the one of the biggest movements
Mm-hmm.
to sweep this
Yeah.
country since the Reagan.
Yeah.
That's just not happening. As a matter of fact, the exact opposite is happening.
Mm-hmm.
You
Well, they're
have
only. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I was gonna say their only claim to fame, Trey, is well, he's getting rid of the illegals, isn't he? It's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
we closed the border. You're gonna kick some illegals out. Great. First of all, I didn't even know the illegals existed until I turn on the news or watch social media. Right. The
Right.
illegals weren't like in my backyard ruining my world, ruining my world. Okay. I get
Right.
it. We got to put our foot down. We got to, get back to the days of
Mhm.
you can't come in illegally. Totally agree with that. We should not have opened the border. We should not have let them flood in. We're trying to get rid of them. We're trying to close the border. Great. Anyway, what about the other 9,000 corrupt issues that
Mhm.
we were going to
Mhm.
get to the bottom of? You have the Clintons now this week. Neither Bill or
Yeah.
Hillary show up for their disposition,
Yeah.
right? Or their deposition. Neither
Yeah.
of them show up to that. I mean, they're sticking their middle finger up at the Republicans right now, laughing their way through this entire process, thinking you're not going to touch
Yeah.
us. Well,
Right.
hold on a
Uh-huh.
second. This is Comey's chance now. This is your real chance you drop the ball on Epstein. You've now got the Clintons saying, F you, we're not coming to your stupid hearing. Okay, Comey's now running his mouth that we're gonna hold him in contempt of Congress. Are they? If he doesn't, this whole thing is shot, man. The whole thing.
Yeah.
You have
It's
Massey. I don't know.
pointless.
Did you see Massey today running his mouth, saying uh, Pam Bondi's lack of doing anything is probably a reason why the Clintons didn't even show up. He said it in a much wittier and sarcastic, smart-ass way. It was a great comment by him, very
Yeah.
subtle, but he made a point. And I'm thinking, yeah, where are the arrests? Where's anything? You
Yeah.
know,
It's
and
not
all of
gonna
a
happen.
sudden, right? Well, Epstein files were so important to the right, to MAGA. It was a
Mhm.
major, major selling point to
Yeah.
vote Trump. We're going to get to the bottom of Epstein. The whole pedo ring is going down. And now you know what I have MAGA telling me every day? It's not going to change a damn thing. We have bigger things to worry about.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It
hold
makes
on
no
a
sense.
second. Since when?
Yeah.
Iran's ballistic missiles that they're,
Oh my
piecing
God.
together, or
Jesus
Venezuela's
Christ.
dictator or something. Like I'm with you, Matt. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke. And that's where I think it has nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with it's one of the most not transparent administrations I've seen in a while.
It's
Like
horrific.
it's like everybody was throwing a fit that they tried to hide that Biden was mentally gone, and I'm like, well, we're hiding, and I even mentioned this, and everybody ignored me. Like, do people realize when all this went originally went down with Epstein, Trump was in office. Like if he
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to release a lot of stuff on what was going on with Epstein, he could have done it while he was still in
Yep.
his first term, and he did not.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to talk about that.
I think they're
Republicans got
all in on
really
it.
pissed when I missed when
Yep.
I spoke about it. But yeah, to think that this whole pedophile ring corruption is just on the left is asinine. It's
Mm-hmm.
not logical. It wouldn't if that was truly the case, I think Republicans would be ripping skeletons out of the left's
Absolutely.
closet all the time. But the reason you don't see it, you never see any big arrests, the reason why Hunter Biden's still running around, the reason why the Clintons are still running around, the reason why war criminals like
Fauci's still around.
Fauci's still around.
Yeah.
Even I'm
Big
sure you
pharma,
got
all the big pharma guys.
Lindsey Graham's probably got some crazy skeletons in his closet with
that guy's
how
in
the
freaking
warmongering neocon. So they won't. It's like children. It's like if you've ever had a sibling close to your age. Like I had a brother that was a year and a half younger than me, and it was the whole thing. You tell mom and dad what I just did, and I'm going to tell them what you did a month before that, and you never crossed a certain line with tattling on each other because
exactly what's
you
happening.
knew all their dirt. It's literally like that in politics, and they've just pitted everybody against each other. It's left versus right. Everybody's armed to the teeth, and that's why you have people who will, be outraged about the lady that died on January 6th. You'll have people that will be outraged that what happened to George Floyd, and then you'll have it on, with Renee Good, and it's just
they were all unnecessary.
Every one of them was unnecessary. It was not okay. Like, and I point this out to even an issue with our society and just a lack of value of human life, period. And a sense of like you're better than your fellow American. Like because you vote Republican, that means you're more of a human being than somebody who voted Democrat. Like really? We've gotten to that point in our degrading society that our self-worth, our value as human beings, like it's in our Constitution.
Right.
What was supposed to give value to human beings. And now it's been reduced to, well, which president did you vote for in the last election?
Absolutely. And again, Biden was horrific as well. I mean, I screamed. I love when people tell me, oh, where were you when Biden was, I was like, dude, I was running my mouth for 4 straight years about Biden. I literally started a podcast.
Where were you on here like about that?
Like, I literally started a podcast just to tear the left apart every day for 4 straight years. I mean, I lost friends over it. I lost family over it. And this is what I tell people. I have there's a lot of good MAGA out there. And when I say the cult, you guys hear me call them the cult all the time on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're not all in a cult. When I say the cult, I'm not talking about 100% of the MAGA bases in a cult because that's not true. There's a minority. There's a percentage of them that are absolutely 1000% in a freaking cult. Those are the people that I'm calling out. Yeah. I generalize a lot. I can't sit here and write 70 different posts about who I think's in a cult and who I don't think's in a cult. That just gets too confusing. So I refer to them as the cult, especially when, something really bad happens or they're taking a side that is so outrageous and is such a blatant lie, right? And they just refuse to admit it. I was like, that's very cult-like. But I do have nice conversations with people on, privately. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, let me summarize why I'm so pissed off right now and why I'm giving Trump shit the way I am on Facebook. Let me try to explain this. For 4 years, I ran my mouth. I started a podcast. I started right-wing media outlets. I backed Trump. Every day, Trump. Every day, we got to get this guy back. Every day, Biden's gone too far. I wanted the pronoun crap gone. I wanted to never have to worry about my kid being forced to get vaccinated. I wanted that gone. The left absolutely went too far. So we had to get Trump back in. So I did that. I lost a lot of family. I'm in New York State, dude. Very liberal state. Yeah. Most of my family are liberals. Okay. I stopped going to holidays because of Trump. Okay. Because they just couldn't tolerate me even being around me supporting Trump. But I didn't care. I was like, dude, we're trying to save America. I don't give a shit right now. Forget my family for a minute. We got to save America, right? And then I go to J6. We do that, and again, that just turned off a lot more people. It's okay. We're here to save America. And then he gets back in and starts to not really do anything that we fought so hard for him to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a second. I lost everything to fight for this guy because I thought he was going to end the corruption. And then I was hoping my family would look at that and be like, oh, I guess you did make the right decision, because he took down the pedo ring, and he took down this group, and he took down Big Pharma, and he took down these, you know what I mean? And I thought Trump was going to do all these things. And then we were going to say, not, I told you so, but do you see why I fought now? So now we have nothing to show for. And you know what I mean? And we've lost kind of everything. So yeah, there's a lot of people like me pissed off right now, giving Trump shit, trying to hold him accountable. Say, you promised me you do this. I lost my family and friends because you said you do this. So I'm going to give you shit for it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, not at all. And the funny part is, like, so when the left did stuff in the 4 years of Biden, it was stupid shit. And you could see it, right? I mean, like all the pronoun crap, I mean, drag queens and all this stuff. I mean, like, we could easily laugh it out. I mean, laugh over it and say that's stupid, right? Now, the opposite side, what they're doing is they're like continuously supporting Trump doing nothing that he promised and then telling us to live on hope. It reminds me of this whole Q thing. I don't know if you remember this back,
Yeah.
towards the
I didn't really, I never got into Q. I didn't follow
saw
it,
there was a
but I
psyop
caught
from
the
day
sound
one.
bites.
Right.
What's
I mean,
that?
that was a psyop from like somewhere from day one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, a critical
That was
thinking person
nuts.
looks at it and says, if anybody has anything that's going to happen like that, secret, nobody's going to tell you. It's going to be a secret that it happens, right? So that's stupid. It sounds like that now. I mean, like, and they're not even like trying to think through anything critically and say, like, look, like one day he says Epstein files are there, the next day he says, who cares? That's a little weird. I mean, they don't stop to think
Then it's
like
a hoax.
to find an excuse, right? It's saying like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, who cares? Like, we got better things to worry about. I mean, like what?
Like what? Like what?
And then gaslight the whole country, and then try to cancel culture. You're still talking about that? You're not.
What? Like what else are we supposed to be talking about here? Because
he sounded like Biden. He sounded like Biden. If you vote for Trump, you're not black. It's like if you're MAGA, you won't talk about the Epstein files. Like
you're not
thought
MAGA
like I was looking at the
right
right-wing version of Biden in that moment. Like it was
Absolutely.
that bad. Oh my gosh. And I think I commented this on one of your posts, Matt, and I feel like Republicans need to get this through their head. And your story about, supporting Trump, and I'm right there with you. I didn't go to Jan 6, but I mean, gosh, I wore my MAG hat proud. I went out talked to people about it. I posted about it all the time, lost friends over it and the whole shebang. But so if anybody's losing anything speaking out about this, it's us. Like people still going on with this they're doing the same thing. But what I commented on your post is when one is committed to operating from truth, party affiliation does not matter. When ego gets in the way, you worry more about not looking bad or being wrong, and you sacrifice truth for comfort. And like the right really needs to get this through their head. It has nothing to do with party. The whole point of MAGA was not meant to be a right wing movement. MAGA was supposed to be Americans coming together and saying, this is broken, we want to fix it. Just because it kind of found a home more with the right wing, MAGA was supposed to be like, hey, we're taking over the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is part of the reason why we're in this mess. Republicans had a lot of time and control of things as well. It wasn't just Biden. It wasn't just Obama. It wasn't just, the past few Democrats that have been in office. Republicans had a part in it too. They were still at the helm. Sometimes they were steering the ship. So it's just really alarming when I see stuff on social media like we need to get these Democrats out of the Republican Party. What I see with that is the old Republicans that was against MAGA, that turned their back on Trump, that wanted to keep the status quo with the corruption, is wanting to get the people who joined the MAGA movement, came over to that and wanted to see America put first. Those people are getting the whole cancel culture and kicked out and being like, you don't have a place anymore. You're not getting in line.
Right.
You're still talking about what we promised a year and a half ago, and it's not happening.
I mean, look what they're doing to Massey and Rand Paul. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm done." I mean, I don't blame her. She's not going to stick around for this crap. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene's already a multimillionaire before she even went into Congress. Very successful construction company. She doesn't have to deal with this crap.
Yeah. It's
she
sad because Congress, like her and Massey, there's so few people that'll just stick up for what's right and truth, and it doesn't matter about party. There might be a bunch of people on the right that even feel the same way or agree with them, but they won't speak out against it because you can't make the party look bad. If you make the party look bad, a Democrat will get into office, and then we're screwed. Like, what?
Well, I mean, in my rebuttal is, are we though? Are we any more screwed than we are today? Because this is pretty, this is pretty bad. I mean, I don't. Trump hasn't really done much to make America any better. So could it get that much worse? Yeah, sure. We're not all being forced to say our pronouns anymore, and nobody's going to be forced to get vaccinated. That's cool. But other than that, what have we really done to make this country better? I mean, and I don't think the Republicans realize just how many friends and family we have that are immigrants that are really pissed off about this right now.
Yeah.
And it's not sitting well. I have some hardcore Republican friends down in Florida who are like, F Trump, dude, we're done with him, because they have so many Cuban friends who have friends, whether they're legal or not, but these are their friends.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying because they're their friends, they should stay illegally. No, but we also don't need to treat them like, animals. And not give them at least a chance to become legal. We used to at least give these people a chance to try to go through the process. Right now, they're not even doing that. You know what I think's going on, guys? I think Trump is scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. I don't think he has that many more illegals to kick out. So he is really clutching at straws right now, trying to put on an insane show to lead MAGA to believe we're kicking him out by the millions. How many illegals have we kicked out so far? 300,000?
Yeah, and Obama did 4 million.
500,000 out of 20 million, right?
Yeah.
I think the Republicans have run their mouths so, I think they've lied so bad, they have to keep the lie going. Like, it's not 20 million. First it was like 5 million, then it was 10 million, now it's 20 million. Like, they lied, I think they lied so bad about the numbers to get elected.
Yeah.
They don't have the 20 million to go after. They probably even barely have 5 million. So they're
I don't think
really
it was ever. I mean, like, they lied about the
20 was the number
it
got to.
Yeah, the statistics I think were 11 million was, I think, the total immigrants that came in during that time, I guess.
No, Trump doubled that during a campaign
Yeah, of course, he doubles everything. I mean, he doubles his IQ as well.
Bigger, better.
Dude, and I love the guy. Like, I used to, I know. Listen, I don't hate Trump now. I'm not a hater. I don't have TDS. Dude, Trump cracks me up, dude.
Yeah.
I laugh so much at some of the stuff he does. There's sometimes I think, dude, that was funny. And there's sometimes I'm thinking, dude, grow the F up. There's a time and place to be a comedian. And there's, yesterday with the guy who screened pedophile protector, he goes F you twice and gives him the finger. I mean, dude, come on.
I know.
Like, you're the president of the United States. Like you need to give us any more reason for the world to think we are just the worst people in the world.
Or wonder why you got triggered so
Eh,
much about it. Like, why did you get that triggered about it,
Oh,
Trump? Like, seriously, why
bad.
why
That
why
was
would you get?
bad.
Is it because you won't tell Bondi to release all the files? Like, I mean, maybe
I
it
think the
struck a
guy is
nerve. But
under a
to
lot
me,
of
somebody
stress,
who just, yeah,
right?
but
I mean,
somebody who
he's
reacts that poorly to it makes you wonder did you just,
I
is
mean,
that,
listen, we know his friends are in it, okay? Do we know
right,
Trump's in it? I don't know. I would never accuse Trump of being in the files because I have no idea. But I
yeah,
have to assume he's covering for somebody
right.
because
oh,
at least play the freaking game. Throw a few Republican names in there alongside Bill Clinton. Then I could buy it. Then
Hmm.
I could buy it. But when you tell me that when you read off a list of names and they're all Democrats, it's like, who do you think you're fooling here?
right.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
sick of being
Yep.
taken for a fool. This is why
Yeah.
I'm not going to be taken for a fool anymore. This is why I latch out. And it's just, when they dropped Bill Clinton's photo and you had all the MAGA cult come out and be like, I told you he's in it. It was like, hold on a second. Bill Clinton's now a pedo because he saw pictures, but Trump's not. We've seen pictures of Trump
Yeah.
for like a year now. So
Right.
if you're going to put Bill
Videos
Clinton,
too.
they both, oh, no, but no, Trump never went to the island. I was like, that's not what I said. I said,
Uh,
you just accused Bill Clinton of being a pedophile because there's pictures with girls. But I also have pictures of girls with Trump.
yeah.
So are we going to be fair and sane here with our assessment, or are you just going to go cult on Trump and just attack Biden? It's just that it's the hypocrisy that
Yeah, it is hypocrisy.
that just like makes me lose respect for a lot of my friends on the right.
We like using TDS on the show, but we changed it to Trump denial syndrome. So
Yeah.
we like
I
there's a
call it
lot of people.
reverse. I call it reverse TDS. You're so the other way. You just refuse to
Uh,
hold them accountable for literally anything.
it's also like Trump
I thought
worship
the
syndrome.
bootlicking was just on the was literally just on the left for so long until I saw this stuff. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's just the same thing.
It's
It's
exactly the same thing.
If you really think about it, like, I mean, I think from Trump, Trump is, I think, in a bad place himself. Like, everything he's either being advised to do. I mean, this happened to him in the first term too, right? He had like really bad people advising him. And when he selected his, people around him this time, I mean, they were actually good people. So we figured, okay, now he's going to get some good advice. But obviously, he's not listening to these people because everything he's doing is totally dumb. Like the whole thing with Venezuela as well, right? Completely, first they lied and then they actually had said the truth and went in, and now I just saw that none of the oil companies wants to go in there. They like said no, thank you, we don't want to go in there. So like, wouldn't somebody like him, like, if you do it for a reason, at least check with the damn oil companies, see if they want to go in first before you go in there and like kidnap their president and bring him here? Or was there some other reason for it? I mean, like, there's various other stories floating around that the dollar is in trouble. He's trying to do this and that. Something big is
I mean,
going
we just
on.
pardoned we pardoned a drug
Yeah,
cartel lord, right, from Honduras, and then all of a sudden we
yeah,
care about this narco dude in Venezuela.
right.
Like, what are we
I know.
doing?
Well, and
So
then
it's
why would the oil companies not wanting to go in there? Like, people don't understand. It's been proven that oil companies hold out oil barges out there and stop them from coming in to control the price and keep the prices and make money. So, like, why would they be interested in going and doing all this if, which the infrastructure, it's going to cost billions to rebuild the oil infrastructure over there to even get anything to where they would make money. So it's like, hey, no, we're not interested in that. Now, if you want to just say control it for the sake of the political power of saying that we control the largest
Right.
reserves and what that could do for helping save the dollar, this or that. Like, I think we talked about it last week when we talked about Venezuela. I was like, look, I don't. We can talk whether or not it's morally right or wrong. And it's just be honest about the whole thing.
Well, and
Everybody's
that's the thing.
lying,
They're not
and
honest.
then even the MAGA cult making up lies for Trump, because
Right.
Trump came out and said we're seizing the oil. I'm taking over Venezuela and everything, and the MAGA cult's like, well, it was for he was illegitimate, and this was a humanitarian thing, and all this. I'm like, you guys are lying for Trump. Like, you guys are idiots.
Well,
Like,
you
it has,
can't. They can't even keep up with the story. Like,
Yeah.
like,
right.
like, literally 24 hours ago, you were all telling me that we were going to go solve the whole drug crisis, and that we're going to go take out a narco terrorist. And when we said no, it's about oil, he said no, it's not about oil. TDS, GDS, leftist, Democrat. It's not about
Right.
oil. It's about drugs. Okay. Then the next day, Trump's like, yeah, it's about oil, and they're like, yeah, what's the problem with that? And I'm like, holy shit, you
we're
guys.
making America great again. Like, it's like
24 hours ago, it was narco terrorism, and now it's like they can't keep their story straight.
I
And
think, it's probably because it may even be like logistics, like, like geographical locations of American power. Because I think America sat around and waited so long, focusing on wars that we didn't have to get involved in and doing all this
Mhm.
other nonsense. China and Russia has built up a nice infrastructure where they can pretty much like get to the United States easily without stopping anywhere, which is probably why they're like now he's talking about just going over and taking Greenland because that will
mm,
close the
Mhm.
Atlantic Passage for any Russian subs or anything like that. I think that they're preparing for something that nobody really knows what it is. It's probably being because I think it was Candace who said wars are for discussed in closed rooms, closed doors behind in boardrooms, right? They decide who they're going to bomb, who they're going to go to war with, and this is like I mean, from what I'm seeing as to where the land is being grabbed, it almost seems like a strategic, like a building bases to cover all the corners of the U.S. Of course, we all forget that there's
it's
only 25 miles
posturing.
between Russia and the United States up by Alaska, right? I mean, so they don't need
Mhm.
all that, protection across the ocean. But something big is going on, and I don't know what it is. I don't have a good feeling about it. And all of this other stuff is probably a distraction from what's really going on.
I mean, at the end of the day, we weren't supposed to care about any of this. That's the problem. We were supposed to be
Yeah.
making America first. Okay, and I get that the government can't tell us everything, right? They got to go in and get business done. And if they told us everything what they were doing, then nothing would ever work, right? So I respect the fact that some things need to be kept a secret. But
Hmm.
the problem is Trump was supposed to be the president who dealt with America. And
Yeah.
all we've done every other month, there's another freaking country that we're trying to deal with. We were
Yeah.
supposed to stop caring about Ukraine. We're still giving them weapons. We were supposed to, you know, not get into any new wars. In the first like few months of his second term, we're over there bombing, or sending stealth bombers over there to take out nuclear weapons. Right? It's like I thought all because of Israel, right? It was to like help out Israel.
Yeah.
Why? And Israel's it's. I never really knew as much about Israel as I did this second term. I didn't even know
Hmm.
Israel was a thing the first term. Did we
Yeah.
ever hear about Israel the first term?
Well, I mean,
Never.
the
At
people
least
who
I didn't.
knew,
At least I didn't.
right,
I didn't hear
right. I
much
mean,
about it.
they didn't make it so obvious, but the people who knew
Right.
that that the APAC and the the lobby was
Hmm.
behind everything. I mean, it was there, but
Right.
this
Right. I
time
just
around,
it
like you
wasn't in
said,
my face though.
No,
correct,
now
exactly. Yeah.
it's in your face because everybody's
No one
talking
cares
about it.
anymore.
Everybody was with the whole and with the whole Gaza thing, everybody was just really speaking of, hey, why are we sending money to help fund this? Why are we participating in this? If it was getting, global news, global headlines, and people were pissed about the situation. And you talk about like I'm with you, Matt, on we're supposed to be focusing on America. And I would even say if you just came out and said, look, we are seizing Venezuela because the dollar's in trouble, we're making sure that people are still going to be trading in dollars by taking control of the biggest supply of oil. 70% of China's oil is coming out of this. We want to make sure we're stopping Russia from getting, oil from Venezuela. This is a good posturing for America as a global power. And then we need to take Greenland because it's a strategic
Hmm.
location. a defensive location and a potentially offensive location if need be. And another aspect of that people don't really know about is that is like really big when it comes to satellites and you know, in the outer atmosphere and stuff like that because of where it's at, you know, geographically and how that's really being used now in modern warfare, satellites. So if you did all just these things, being
Mm-hmm.
like, up, we're focusing on the well-being of America, regardless if you want to, if you support the imperialism that comes along with some of this, which I'm not all for, focus on that, fine. But why are we still, we've sent $187 billion to Ukraine. And you cannot say what Russia is doing in Ukraine is bad with what we just did to Venezuela. You immediately are saying, well, this
Mhm.
was in our best interest for America, so it's a good thing. You have MAGA. Well, it's great. America's awesome. Yeah. But you can't say Russia's bad for doing the same thing to protect their national interests with Ukraine, resources, and stuff like that. We've essentially, that told me that America and everybody's admitted that we just wasted $187 billion for no reason.
Yeah, pissed it
And then
away.
talk about everything we're sending in the Middle East. We just bailed out the government of Honduras. Was it Honduras? We just bailed
With
out their government.
pardoning the cartel dude from that was
Pardon the cartel. Well,
Honduras.
and then we doubled their aid
Mm-hmm.
as well. So it's just like if you got rid of all the stuff that wasn't putting America first and you were just doing these other things, I could be like, okay, I could see at least where Trump's trying to put America first.
Mm-hmm.
But you put everything into consideration and then he's still recently threatening to, you know, drop bombs on Iran again if they don't stop
Uh, I'm not
doing
worried
what
about
they
Iran. Like I'm
Right.
worried about. I'm worried about New York City falling apart because the subways are like 150 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
I'm worried
Hmm.
about the infrastructure. I'm worried about the fact that Americans cannot get around the country on a freaking fast train like every
Yeah.
other developed country in the world. I
Yeah.
was in
Right.
China. I went to China and so I lived in China for 10 years. I literally saw that country
Huh.
build more skyscrapers in 5 years than the entire world has probably built in 100. I
Yeah.
mean, I literally saw entire city go up in front of my face. It was phenomenal. China had most of the world's cranes in Shanghai and in other cities from about 2004 to 14 when I lived there. Most of the world's cranes were in China. And it's because they just focused on China. When I went back in
Uh-huh.
February, um, I couldn't believe the technology. It was like a futuristic world, the way that you use
Hmm.
apps to do everything. All the cars are EVs, every one of them, and they're practically driving themselves. You can get on a train in Shanghai, you can be in Beijing in like 4.5 hours on a fast speed train, and you could do that throughout most of the country now. And they did, and this isn't Europe. Europe has a lot of that
Hmm.
too, but they did it over 100 years. China did it in like 8 years, right?
Yeah.
And I get communism has an element of play to that. You know, you just tell the people this is what we're doing, and nobody's going to be able to
Right.
argue with that. So I guess you do move a little bit quicker when nobody has a say. But America is like broken
Yeah.
physically. I mean,
Hmm.
shit's just breaking here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we that $187 billion, whatever you said, Trey, if we put that into infrastructure, into railroads, into connecting our cities, so we can also look like Europe. So I can get on and I lived in London too. I can get on in London and I could be anywhere in Europe in practically 3 hours, 2 hours,
Uh-huh.
1 hour, depending on where I'm going, what country I'm going. I can walk to the underground, catch the train, and then go anywhere in the country, and then get out of the train, catch an underground, and be at my hotel. No taxis. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No driving.
Hmm.
Anywhere I want with a walk,
Yep.
an underground. Why can't we do that here? Why are we still living in the dark ages? It's because we're
Yeah.
not
I can.
focusing on
Yeah.
America.
I can tell you the reason why is because, like, just like we just said, I mean, in 2013, I mean, my wife and I, not wife, but we toured, Europe from London through all of Europe,
Mm-hmm.
all by train. We never set foot
Yeah.
in a car, right?
Right.
And I was like amazed. I mean, that was my first time in Europe. I'm like, geez, I mean, like, why don't we have this back home?
Right.
The fact is, most people who live in this country don't travel outside of the borders.
True. True.
So they don't know what's out there and then the government will tell you that everything else is a shithole and that this is all the third world and they assume that they live in shacks and shanties. I mean, Zimbabwe has a city skyline better than Cleveland, Ohio. Right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm not
it's
surprised.
all everybody spends their money and their focus is on developing their own country, and therefore slowly, I mean, the third world is now considered the developing world. They're all
Absolutely.
developing, and here we are stagnant. And just like you said, crumbling bridges. I mean, we have potholes that we can kind of climb into and just
Mm-hmm.
disappear on our roads. It's so stupid. And then people
Yeah.
will continue to support the bombing, the warfare. I mean, like that's what we are known for around the world. Oh, America, okay, that's the country that bombs everybody else. I mean, they spend their money bombing, whereas everybody else spends their money building. Something's got to
Yeah.
give, and I agree with you. It has to come from the moderates. But I mean, if moderates don't take the challenge and have the guts to go in there and fight it, I think we might as well just, close this book and say, we're done. I
You know
mean,
what? I would take it a step further. It's got to come from the people. And this is why I'm
right.
screaming every day. The Republicans are like, you changed. I was like, no, you've changed.
Yeah.
You guys have all changed. You stopped fighting for what we're trying
Hmm.
to achieve here.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you all join me in screaming at Trump every day, he would listen.
Hmm.
Trump, contrary to popular belief, Trump listens. I'm on
Yeah.
X every day, all day. I know his team's reading those posts
Yeah.
because when I see enough passion go one direction, Trump the very next day reverses course. And I
Yeah.
think his team knows we're not happy. So Trump
Hmm.
does listen. So if
Yeah.
we all kicked off and said, okay, put the Epstein files aside for a second, but if we kicked off and we said, stop with Israel, stop with
Hmm.
Venezuela, focus on America, let's do
Yeah.
this, let's do that, I know he would
Hmm.
listen
Yeah.
because he wants to be loved and liked, right? Trump has like the biggest
Right.
ego of any presidents we've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he wants to be loved and liked. And the only way that we'll love and like him is if he does, to a certain extent, what the majority does want him to do.
Yeah.
So if the Democrats and the Republicans on both sides said, enough, we're done with this shit. We want America to look like this. And they all screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed about it. I do think things would change, but it would
Hmm.
require both Democrats and Republicans coming together. Now, I do have hope for our younger generation. I do
Yeah.
think the youth is looking at us right now and saying, you, mom, dad, you're all batshit crazy.
Hmm.
Okay. How could you not see the insanity on both sides?
Yeah.
I think the youth are a lot smarter than we give them
Hmm.
credit for. I think they're like, you guys are all insane. And I hope they're going to grow up with a politically independent mindset. And maybe then they'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Gosh,
agree.
that
Well,
hour went by real fast.
that hour did go by real fast. Matt, thank you so much for joining and ranting with us for an hour.
No, it was fun, guys. I
No,
appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate
no
the support
problem.
on social media too.
Oh,
When I'm getting roasted on a daily basis.
we're with you, man.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it. I appreciate
it's
it.
mutual on all fronts. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Good night, guys.
Night.